1973 Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced World Series. Now that the 2024 World Series is over and the Yankees have choked away Game 5, we're ready to go back to some Strat-O-Matic World Series play from 1973. Hello, Mr. RJL. Let's get what I needed to have out here. We got our pirate colored dice. The only thing I did was change the D20. The D6s are the same for Oakland and Pittsburgh, but of course Pittsburgh gets the black D20 versus the green D20. So let me take a look and see what you guys are seeing. And it looks like for the most part everything is showing up, best I can tell. Hello Ben, how you doing? So I think we're just about ready to get going. Starting pitcher is Doc Ellis for the Pirates and Catfish Hunter for the Oakland A's. Series tied at a game apiece, and now, of course, Game 3 has taken us to Pittsburgh versus being in Oakland. So out to Three Rivers Stadium. And the one thing I didn't write down yet that I probably should have before I started were the ballpark effects. And for Pittsburgh, singles are 1 to 4 for both lefties and righties. It's a symmetrical ballpark. So singles are 1 to 4. Home runs are 1 to 5. Probably could have pulled an old copy from the San Francisco score sheets and done that. But that's what we got. Singles are 1 to 4. Home runs 1 to 5. Both lefties and righties. Pitcher, catcher, hold interface. This is where the game could get a little interesting. The Pittsburgh Pirates, Doc Ellis is a +4 on his hold rating. Sanguillen's a +1, so that's a +5. And the way Oakland likes to steal bases, that could be huge. On the other hand, Catfish Hunter is a -2, and Ray Fosse is a -3 for a -5. So you've got a huge discrepancy right there. And that could definitely affect the running game in this one. Wow, Ben, we got the 80s today. We had it yesterday and today. Definitely did not feel like October. Felt more like early September, perhaps. So, that being said, there are your lineups. The Oakland lineup, I used the exact lineup they had in Game 3 when they faced Tom Seaver, which is another right-handed pitcher, so I used this exact same lineup. Pittsburgh, I kind of went with what I thought was their best lineup. Wasn't sure exactly where to bat Hebner. I was going to bat him up here ahead of Oliver, but I decided to put him down in the number 5 spot, maybe to give Zisk some protection. So it's kind of you don't really know how they would have played it, so we'll just play it the way we got it right now. All right. I think I can actually push this down just a hair and still get things to fit, but we'll double check it. I want to get you to be able to see the cards as much as possible, or as best as possible, I should say. Although it looks like it's tilted, so let me see if I can fix the tilt. We don't want to tilt and get people dizzy around here. So, I went the wrong way, so now I got to go this way. All right, let's try it this way now. Tell after a few days off, it's trying to get now. I went too far, so there we go. Maybe that'll help. Apologize for the dizziness early on. Okay, and now we can bring this back down a little bit. Hopefully that now will work. I think it will. I think we finally got it where I want it to be. Okay, now we're ready to go. So here we go. Doc Ellis finishing up the warm-up tosses. We'll be facing Bert Campaneris. And if he gets on base, then that +5 pitcher-catcher hold rating is definitely going to come into play. So we'll see what happens here. Game 3 underway. 3-7, and that's a 1 to 2 double. 3 to 20 is a single. That's a leadoff single for Campaneris, and he's looking to get the lead. Needs a 3 through 6 to get the lead. If he gets the lead, it's almost a guaranteed stolen base. So a 3 through 6 would do it. And that's a 3, so he does get the lead. That gives him an 18. Being held makes him a 16, but then the +5 makes him a 21. But, of course, 19 is the highest you can have. So anything other than a 20, he'll be in there. And it's a 2, so it's a possible throwing error on Sanguillen. His T rating is a 13. 1 to 13, he throws this sucker away. And he does. So not only does Campaneris steal second base, but Sanguillen chucks it into center field, and Campaneris all the way to third with nobody out. So E2 on Manny Sanguillen. So now with nobody out and nobody on, runner at third and nobody out, they're going to play the infield back. They want to make sure they don't give up a big inning. At least that's the thought on that. Hello, Gerald. Hello, Brian. Anybody I might have missed? Ellis, 6-7, and that is a ground ball, second base X. The infield is not in. They're back. So it's a 3E21 for Cash. 3 and a 19, he'll get to that. Let's see what a 3 and a 19 does. It's probably going to be a runner score anyway, regardless, whether it's an A or whatever it is. But a 3 and a 19 for Cash is a G1, so we'll see. Make sure it doesn't make an error. E21, he's got to avoid 4, 13, and 17, which he does. So it's a G. So a runner on third, a G1 with the infield back, infield normal. G1 runner at third says runner advance. So there you go, runner advance. Just as that's expected. The run will score on the 4-3 ground out. But now the bases are empty, and they can try to get out of this with just the one run allowed. That's the thought behind that. With one out, they probably would have brought the infield in. With nobody out, seemed more kosher to play back. Hello, Alan. Good to see you. Here's Captain Salbando, 4-5, and that's a strikeout. So 2 down. So now, as it turns out, it might have been better to play the infield in, but you don't know that going ahead of time. It's all, hindsight's 20/20 when you see the results. So here's Hot Dog Jackson. 3-9, and he's going to ground to short to end the inning. So playing the infield back did, in fact, cost them a run, but had they played the infield in, it might have cost them 2 or 3 runs. So, pick your poison. Run at third, nobody out. You kind of figure you're going to give up a run. So they played for the, lesser of the 2 evils, and that's what they got. And, of course, I just put a 0 up there out of habit when I know they just scored the run. So don't know why I did that. I'm just so used to putting zeros in the first inning, when in fact, the Oakland A's got a run in the first inning. So I don't know why I did that, but it happens. All right, so now Dave Cash will be facing Catfish Hunter. And that's a 2-2, and that's going to be a ground ball to short plus an injury chance. So Cash might be out of this ball game. If there is an injury, it would just for this one game. Not doing it for the whole series, just the one game. So Cash, again, 1-4 can stay in the game. Anything else has got to come out. So 1-4, he can stay in the game. Otherwise, Rennie Stennett's going to take his place. And Rennie Stennett's going to take his place. So Rennie Stennett will be coming in for the injured Cash at second base. So hopefully that's not a bad omen for the Pirates going forward. They lose their second baseman. All right, so Rennie Stennett is a 4E19, and it's a 12. So Rennie Stennett is your new second baseman going forward. So they lose something defensively as well. And here's Al Oliver. That's a 1-4, and that's going to be a foul out to Ray Fosse for out number 2. And here's Pops Stargell. 1-8, and that is a 1 for a double. Anything else is a fly to center. Put away by Davalillo, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Catfish Hunter. And the A's lead the Pirates 1-0 after 1 from Three Rivers Stadium. So the new second baseman is, in fact, Rennie Stennett. And Doc Ellis will see what he can do here in the second inning against Gene Tennis. Chuck, no, she is just resting on her blanket downstairs. That's her new spot. It's an old sleeping bag, and she just adores it, and I can't get her away from it. So I can't compete with something like that. And but she is resting comfortably and enjoying herself. And with the weather being nice today, we had the windows open, so she's enjoying the fresh air. Had the porch door open so she could get some fresh air coming in through the porch, which is right where she sits. So she seemed to enjoy that. 4-10 for Tennis against Ellis is a fly to right field, 1 away. All right, here's Davalillo. 3-7, and that's a fly to center, 2 down. Don't know if anybody dressed up as ID Jester for Halloween, but that would be kind of neat if somebody did. All right, here's Ray Fosse. 6-3 is a fly ball left field X. That is Mr. Stargell. He's a 4E8. Not much range, but decent on the air. But 4 and a 3 is not going to cut it. 4 and a 3 is definitely not going to cut it. 4 and a 3 is going to be a double. So now we're checking for an error. He's an E8, which means he has to avoid 3, 6, and then 15 through 18. Which he does. So but it's going to be a 2-out double for Ray Fosse. As Stargell couldn't get to it. That X chance, he just couldn't get there. Now Green is up with 2 outs and a runner at, hello, Mr. Utah Mike. This is where some strategy can come in. A lot of times, teams will walk the 8th place hitter with a pitcher coming up next to avoid the position player driving in the run. Or you can pitch to Green, get him out, and force Hunter to lead off the 3rd. So Doc Ellis says, let me pitch at him. I don't want to walk him. So 1, he might wild pitch him here. 1 to 3 is a wild pitch. No wild pitch. St. Gian blocks it, but they're going to pitch to Green with first base open still. They want to have Catfish lead off the 3rd inning. So see if the strategy pays off. 5-5, it does. It's a strikeout. That's going to end the inning. So no runs on a hit, no errors, and a man left. So we go to the bottom of the 2nd. It's 1-0, but Pirates are without Dave Cash, who was injured in the 1st inning. Rennie Stennett has taken over, but you still lose something there. All right, so coming up for the Pirates, it will be Zisk, Hebner, and Sanguian against Catfish. And I was looking at a Facebook post on the game last night, and it was very interesting. I don't know who the guy was. I don't know if the post is still up there or not. But I think it was in the 3rd inning when the Yankees were ahead 5-0, and the guy was like, "Should they go ahead and pull Cole now so they can save him for Game 7?" And people were like, "You idiot! There's only the 3rd inning. Why would you do that? Especially with their bullpen plays, you got to win this game." So I don't know why the guy would post something like that, but obviously they don't have to worry about a Game 7 now. So I wish I could find that post. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but I don't know where. But make sure I'm not anything blurry on there. Oh, Alan, you saw the same post. Okay, I was going to comment, but I decided not to. But I was thinking like, that's not a very smart thing to say. You were right, Dav. He is very well rested. You won't have to worry about it until February spring training. All right, here's Richie Zisk, 2-8, and that's a fly to left field, 1 away. Richie Hebner, the batter, the Gravedigger. 5-5, left-handed, and that's a strikeout, 2 down. You're right, Robert. That's a fundamental mistake that you would think a veteran like Cole would not have made. I guess he thought Rizzo had it, and Rizzo was expecting him to get over. Just the way it worked. And I didn't see it, but I heard Aaron Judge like muffed a fly ball or something. I don't know, but like, how do you implode like that? 3-11, and that's a pop out to Campaneris to end the inning. So 3 up and 3 down in the first 2 innings for the Pirates. They get nothing and like it. And we go to the 3rd. Still 1-0 Oakland over the Buccos in Game 3 of this 1973 World Series. Jim Hunter will now lead off since we used the strategy of not walking the 8th place hitter. We pitched to Green. That's going to force Hunter to lead off. Ironically, in the American League, they had the DH. The pitchers never batted. But Catfish is using pitcher hitting card number 3. Whereas in the National League, the pitchers hit all the time, but Doc Ellis is using pitcher hitting card number 1. So in this game, the American League pitcher has the advantage. Very interesting. But it's coming off pitcher card, so it doesn't matter. 5-4, catcher X. That is Sanguian. He's a 3E5. Nobody's on base, so you don't have to worry about pass balls or anything like that. 3 and a, what was that, 16? 3 and a 16 is going to be a foul out as long as there's no error. He is an E5, so he's got to avoid 4, 16, 17, and 18. 15, he just does do it. E5, 4, 16, 17, and 18. Boy, he just barely got to that. Kind of snow-coned it, but does make the play. And Catfish is out of there. So here comes Campaneris. He single, stole second, went to third on a bad throw from Sanguillen and scored on the Rudy ground out. 1-6, and that's a strikeout, so he can't steal this time. 2 down. And that'll bring up Joe Rudy. He had the RBI ground out. 4-8, and that's a strikeout again. So Doc Ellis, since that first batter, he's really been in charge pretty much, but finds himself down 1-0 and looking for some run support from his mates. But Catfish Hunter has been a tough nut to crack. Ryan B., are you talking about the real Major League season or RJL's playoffs? Real, okay. I thought you might be talking about both. I wasn't sure. All right, Catfish Hunter on the mound, 4-5. And that's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. Campaneris is a 2E26. 2 and a 7. 2 and a 7. And that will be a G2, which is good enough. E26, he's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And he does. It's 15, so it's good play for Campaneris. Whoops, I need to put him up here, don't I? I forgot to move the guys. So Robertson, good play from Campaneris. 1 away. Brings up Maxville. Dow Maxville. It's a 2-6, and that's going to be a fly to left. Joe Rudy is there, 2 down. And that brings up Doc Ellis using pitcher hitting card number 1. 3-12, that's a fly to right. Reggie is there. And for Catfish, that's 9 up and 9 down to start the game. So we go to the 4th. It's still 1-0 A's. Nip and tuck here on Halloween. We don't get any trick-or-treaters where we are, so I wasn't worried about playing a game while we had trick-or-treaters because we don't live in a subdivision. We kind of live on a busy road, and parents aren't going to let their kids walk along that road at night. So we haven't had trick-or-treaters in years. So we don't turn a light on and don't even have to worry about it. It's just a regular night for us. All right, so here is Doc Ellis to Sal Bando, 5-4. Another catcher X. That, again, is Sanguillen. He's a 3. And that is a 18. Probably another foul out, most likely. 3 and an 18. Actually, no, it's a G3 on a ground out. But, again, checking for an error on an E5. He's got to avoid certain numbers. They are 4 and then 16 through 18. And that is a 15. Once again, he barely avoids the error. Second time in a row that's happened to Sanguillen, but he got by with the skin of his teeth. And there's 1 away. Here's Reggie, 2-8, and Reggie with a solid single. And he might be looking to get the jump because, again, it's a +5 pitcher-catcher hold interface, so you're going to add 5 to whatever his steal number is. If he can get the lead, he needs a 4 through 6, 4, 5, or 6 to get the lead. And he does with the 5, so he gets the lead. He becomes a 17. 2 for being held makes him a 15, but the +5 gives him a 20. So, again, it's a 1-19. Sanguillen hurries the throw, but can't get there. It's a stolen base for Reggie. So Reggie's aboard at second base with 1 out. And he will be held at second base. He runs very well at a 16, so they want to keep him close. Here's Gene Tennis. Flew out to right field his first chance. 3-11. That's a single. It's a clutch situation, but there are not 2 outs, so the single is good. It's a single to right field to Richie Zisk. Zisk is a 0 arm. Jackson would be a 1-15 for being held. But with only one out, they're going to go ahead and hold him there. And they'll turn it over to Davalillo with runners on the corners and only one out. Thought about sending him, but with only one out, I thought they might. With two outs, he would have definitely gone. But with one out, they got two chances to drive him home. So here's Davalillo. It's a 5-5, and that's a fly ball left field B, and that'll do it. A sacrifice fly for Davalillo. Stargell fields it, but has no play. And the A's lead it 2-0 on a sacrifice fly by Davalillo. That 5-5 against the left-hander is a fly ball B. So 2-0 A's. And that'll bring up Ray Fosse. He doubled his first chance. 6-5, that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is the shortstop Maxfield 2E24. Tennis not being held, so he keeps his 2E24. 2 and a 6 should be all right. 2 and a 6 is a G2 pound, but he wasn't responsible. There was no holding the runners, so don't have to worry about that. E24, he's got to avoid 4, 6, 15, 17, and 18. And that's a 13, so that's good play. So Maxfield makes the tough play, but the A's score the run. They do it on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. Go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 2-0 Oakland. And the Pirates don't want to let the A's get too far out in front because Catfish can shut them down. And don't want to have to play catch up with Catfish on the mound. So here's Rennie Stennett, his first at bat since coming in for the injured Dave Cash. See what he can do. Brian B., I am just about in total agreement with you. I have not played it, and if I do play it again, it will be version 3. I just go back to version 3. I don't worry about anything of version 4 at all. I may glean a rule or two off version 4 if I look at it. Like I do, there was one thing I think RJL mentioned in version 4 where, what did it have to do with? I think it had to do with... Now I don't remember off the top of my head. It had something to do, I think, with a pivot or something like that. I don't remember what it was. Some adjustment that was made on double plays, I think, or double play chances, maybe. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look at this video to figure out what it was, or we look at the rules, one or the other. But some of the things I don't even want to mess with at all. But I disagree. It's not unplayable. I prefer they leave it alone. 1-3 is a ground ball to third, 1 away. And in fact, next year's, it's the range doesn't get, they don't lose range for playing double play depth, which I thought was really weird. So why wouldn't you play double play depth all the, I mean, there's no downside to playing double play depth anymore. Why would you ever play back? I mean, I thought that was the whole part of having double play depth is that you decided whether to do it because you know you're giving up one of those ranges. I'm assuming infield in is still a -2. Oh, okay. Well, like I said, it's probably something I don't want to delve into. I'll keep a good thing going the way I liked it. All right, here's Oliver. 1-3, and that's a fly to right, 2 down. But as I was saying, whatever season wins for next game of the week, NBC game of the week next year, I will play on inside pitch, but it will be on version 3 only. It will not be a version 4. I will not do it in Strat because I'm going to be up to my eyeballs in Strat with the 87 AL replay. So I will be itching to get to some inside pitch come next spring. So it will be whatever season is picked. We will play it in season 3. If I don't have the season, I will buy it, but only if that season is still available in version 3 format. If it's not, then I'll have to figure something out. All right, here we go. Willie Stargell pops 4-7, and that's a 1-3 single. That's an 11 though, so he lines it to second, and that's 12 up and 12 down for Catfish Hunter as the A's hold the 2-0 lead on the Pirates, and the Lumber Company's bats have gone silent against Catfish. And who knows, by the time next April rolls around, we might be at a version 4.8. Like I said, the selling point or the thing I heard when version 3 came out is that this was the end all. There won't be anything else. And then lo and behold, they go to that. So while we still have open eras with no seasons printed yet. So just my little grumble. That's all. Great game. Great game. Nothing against the game. Nothing against Chris. Nothing against the game itself. Love version 3. All right, whoops, sewer dice. Let's re-roll that. .610, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. One away. And that'll bring up Catfish Hunter. .17, and that's a ground ball to second, 2 down. And that'll flip the order over to Campaneris. He is 1 for 2. Single stolen base and a run scored. Ellis has to keep him off the bases for sure. 2-8, and he does. Ground ball to short. That'll do it. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 2-0. Nip and tuck. Catfish back out. He'll be dealing with Zisk, Hebner, and Sanguian. Yeah, now if he wants to update the rare play charts, I'm all for that. Catfish 1-3, and that's a ballpark single check, which is 1-4. That is an 18, so that's going to be a liner to short. 1 away. And that'll bring up Richie Hebner. That's a 1-7, and that's a line out to first base snagged by Gene Tennis for out number 2. And that's going to bring up Manny Sanguian. 3-9 for Sanguian. He's going to ground it to short, and that is 15 up and 15 down for Catfish. And we go to the top of the 6th. Score still 2-0. And you wonder, this might be Doc Ellis's last inning because he bats third next inning. They may need some offense. So even if he pitches a good inning, they might have to remove him just to get some offense out there. But here's Joe Rudy. He is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. That's a 6-8, and that is a 1-15 single, but that's a 20, so it's a ground ball to third. And Richie Hebner puts it away. 1 down for Sal Bando. Captain Sal. Captain Sal is 0 for 2. 2-7. He's going to walk. He's not 0 for 2 anymore. Well, he's still technically 0 for 2 with the walk, but he's not a very good base runner. Even with that +5, he's not going to try anything, especially with the Reggie at the plate. He won't be held. But here comes Hot Dog Jackson. There's a 1, so chance of a wild pitch on a 1-3. And there is no wild pitch. Sanguian blocks it. But here's the pitch to Hot Dog Jackson. 2-8 for Hot Dog. He's going to single 2 stars. And that's going to send Bando to third. So runners are at the corners now with only 1 out. And Reggie's going to see if he can get the lead again. If he focus out a bit, sorry. Let's see if I can fix that for you guys. Try it now. See if that's a little bit better before I move on. Must have done something to cause it. Hopefully that's better now. All right, so we're going to try to get the lead with Reggie. A 2, he does not get the lead, but it's a 1, which means he might be picked off. 12 is his safe result, so he needs a 1 through 12 to get back to the bag. Anything higher than 12, he gets picked off. He gets back, so Reggie gets back, but his lead is, he cannot establish a lead now after that, so he has to hold. Infield, boy, they're going to, you got to play in. You can't afford a ground ball B in this situation to let a run come through. All right. They're going to play in. They can't, if ground ball B would be devastating right now. Ellis 5-7 is a strikeout. That's a big strikeout. He gets Gene Tennis. Now the infield can go back to normal. for Vic Davalillo. Davalillo. Yeah, the other channel has a professional camera. I use my phone, so it can happen. Regular smartphone, the focus can go out. Or it might be a setting I can fix. I don't know. I'm not technically savvy. 4-10 against the left-handers, a ground ball to second, and that will end the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left. At the end of 5.5, it's still 2-0. Favor the A's, but that's going to do it for Doc Ellis. He's going to have to go because they have to have offense. So Ellis goes 6 innings pitched. He's going to give up 1, 2, 4, 5 hits, 2 runs. They were both earned. Let's check his walks and strikeouts. He walked just the 1. That was Bando. That was his only walk. And strikeout 1, 2, 3, 4. So final line on Ellis, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts, and he's on the hook for the loss unless the Pirates at some point tie this game. Now, 2 things are needed. We need a pinch hitter and then figure out who the new pitcher is going to be. So first things first, we'll look for the pinch hitter. And let's see who that's going to be. The pinch hitter is going to bat third, so we're going to hold off on announcing a pinch hitter yet until we find out if people are on base, because that can make a difference. All right, so we're going to start out with Bob Robertson. Robertson will be the leadoff hitter, followed by Maxfield and a pinch hitter of some kind. So right now here is Bob Robertson, 5'4". That is a ground ball third base X. That's Sal Bando. And Bando is a 2E24. 2E24. 2 and a 12. He'll get to that. 2 and a 12 is a G1. So now E24, he's got to avoid 3, 9, 12, 15, and 18. And he does, so it's a good play for Sal Bando. 1 away. The A's not used to playing. They don't play that many games on AstroTurf in 1973. I think the White Sox infield and the Royals might have been the only 2 that had AstroTurf back then. Not sure. In the American League, I should say. All right, here is Maxfield. 3-3, and that's a ballpark single check. It's 1-4, but that's a 9. So he's going to line it to short for out number 2. And now the pinch hitter will have to come up with the bases empty. And who do they want to burn for that? Well, we already used Stennett in defense. So now do they go to Parker? Or do they go to Kleins? Who might they want to use here? Parker's got the a little bit more power. So you'd like to save him when there's, well, you know what? He's got more power, so might as well use him when he can put one run on the board by himself. So the Cobra, Dave Parker, will pinch hit for Doc Ellis. Going to pinch hit with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th of a 2-0 ball game. Yeah, Comiskey had the thing with infield was turf and the outfield was grass, or vice versa. I don't remember. It was like half and half. And I don't remember when Kansas City Stadium became turf. In 73, they might have had grass. I don't know. But I thought they had turf in 73, but I could be wrong. All right, here is Parker pinch hitting. That's a 5-6, and that's a pop out to first base. That's going to end the inning. So 18 up and 18 down are gone for the Pirates through 6 innings. So the Pirates can't do anything with Catfish. And coming in to pitch for the Pirates, we'll figure out who they're going to go to. The A's have Fosse, Green, and Hunter due up. So who might they want to bring in? Fosse, Green, and Hunter. They're going to go with Bob Moose. He was 12 and 13. He had 29 starts, but he does have relief rating, so he can give him a few innings of relief. In fact, he could pitch the last 3 if he's effective. So they're going to bring in Bob Moose. Bob Moose. His whole range a -1, so that's going to make a 0 here. So that will definitely affect, cut down on the running game for sure. Now, here is Fosse. against Moose, 5-11. That's a ground ball first base X. That is first baseman Robertson. He's a 2E8. So a 2E8, 2 and a 12. He'll get to that. And the E8, he's got to avoid 3, 6, and then 15 through 18. 3, 6, and then 15 through 18. And he does. So it's going to be a 3-1 put out as he grabs it and flips to Moose covering for 1 away. Here's Dick Green, second baseman. 3-7 for Dick Green, and that is always hits in column 3, and he found a fly ball to left field for out number 2. Dab, that was actually pretty funny. I kind of chuckled to myself on that one. All right, here is Catfish. 1-7, and that is a ground ball to second to end the inning. So 1-2-3 inning for Bob Moose in the top of the 7th. 7th inning stretch. We have reached the 7th inning stretch. 2-0 A's. And the Pirates are running out of outs. Pretty good to get the 7th inning stretch in about 35 minutes. That's not too bad. Of course, low offensive totals will help that as well. All right, so Rennie Stennett's going to lead it off here in the top of the 7th against Catfish. It's a 4-5, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Campaneris. He's a 2E26. 2 and a 12, he'll get to that. E26, he's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18, which he does, so it's a good play for Campaneris. 1 away for Al Oliver. It's a 6-6 to a lefty. That's a fly ball to right field C. That's 2 away for Pops Stargell. Pops Stargell. That's a 3-8 for Stargell. Ground ball to short. And that's 21 up and 21 down through 7 innings. 2-0 favor of the A's. Bob Moose will come out for his 2nd inning of work. And he'll be facing the top of the order, Campaneris, Rudy, and Bando. Hello, GGG. Good to see you. Top of the 8th, 2-0 A's. Moose, 3-10 to Campaneris. 1-15 is a triple, and that will be a triple for Bert Campaneris. That's going to put the pressure on the Pirates. Look at it again. 3-10, right-handed. 1-15 is a triple. That's a 6. So Campaneris is on. The infield has to come in. They got no choice. And Joe Rudy is your batter. The batter, infield is in. That's a 2-11, and that's a ballpark blast. It's a 1-5. That's a 17. It won't be a home run, but it will be by default a sacrifice fly. And that's going to bring home Campaneris to make it 3-0 A's. And how about that? Campaneris has scored 2 of the 3 runs. So 3-0 Oakland. As they just keep giving Catfish more runs to work with. Here is Bando. 4-3, and that is a fly to right, X. And that's going to be Zisk. He's a 4E4. Can he get to it? 4 and a 7, that's going to be iffy. 4 and a 7. Actually, it's going to be a single, so he won't get to it. E4. E4 and a 10. No 10, so it will be a single. Yeah, the dog is our neighbor's dog next door. They got him out, him or her. I think it's a him. They don't take very good care of the dog, I don't think. But it's just my opinion. It's not my place to call it. It's not my dog. But it makes it hard to sleep sometimes at night because they'll sit there and bark and make all that noise. So can be a little distracting, but we'll play on. Here's Reggie. And now you wonder, boy, Do they take Moose out and make Reggie face a lefty? No, they're going to go ahead and let... Man, I think we'll go ahead and let Moose pitch. 1-5 to Reggie. He's going to walk him. So he would have grounded out to third with a lefty, but they got other righties coming up as well. Tennis. So I don't know. Could have done it either way, but they're going to play back for the double play, hoping Tennis hits into a double play here. 4-8, and he strikes him out. So that's going to be 2 down. Here's Davalillo. He's 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Not a very good hitter versus lefties or righties, particularly not against lefties. But if you bring in a lefty reliever, the A's will just go to a right-handed pinch hitter, so they're going to have to just keep him in there. Moose to Davalillo. It's a 2-11, and that's a ballpark single check, but that's a 19, so that'll be a liner to second to end the inning. But the A's do score the run. They do it on 2 hits, namely the triple by Campaneris. No errors and 2 left. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. And the Pirates, with their work cut out for them, trail at 3-0. Fatigue inning was last inning for Catfish, but that has currently not been an issue. He still has full endurance. Richie Zisk is now the batter. Hello, Philip. How are you doing? All right, we get to see RJL play some Strat-O-Matic hockey. I'm looking forward to that, RJL. I have the Strat-O-Matic hockey game. I just never played it. It doesn't look like a good solitaire game to me, but maybe if I see a few people play it solitaire, maybe I'll change my mind. We shall see. Here's Catfish to Zisk. It's a 5-4, and a 5-4 is a ground ball third base X. That's Sal Bando. Bando is a 2E24. 2-13, he'll get to it. E24. He's got to avoid 3, 9, 12, and 15. And that's a 15, so he does not avoid it. That will be, where does Bando go? He's an E24 at third base. And that's a 15. That's a 2-base error. 2-base error on Sal Bando. So the first Pirate runner on via an error, 2-base error by Bando. And Catfish facing Richie Hebner. 3-9 for Hebner. There goes the no-hitter. There goes everything. 8-20 is a double. That is a 20. It's a double. And the shutout, the no-hitter, everything is gone here in the 8th inning. And the Pirate fans giving Catfish a golf-like applause. So perhaps the error by Sal Bando distracted Catfish enough where he lost the no-hitter. Now the bullpen is up for the A's, just in case they don't want this thing to get away from them. So they have Raleigh Fingers in the bullpen. He's loosening just in case. Remember, there was a theoretical off travel day, so everybody's rested. So here's Sanguillen with Hebner at second, who's not being held. That's a 2-9, and that's another hit. That's a triple for Manny Sanguillen. So all of a sudden, the floodgates are opening on Catfish, and he may have to come out of the game. It's now 3-2 all of a sudden, and don't know if Raleigh Fingers is ready yet from the bullpen, but they may have to bring him in. But they're going to let Catfish face one more batter, and that's Bob Robertson. There is nobody out, so they're going to bring the infield in. He is the tying run. "5-9" on Catfish is a strikeout. So a big strikeout there. One away, and here's Maxville. And they may go to the bench here with the Pirates because they need a hitter to try to bring home that tying run. So they're going to pull Maxville. The new shortstop will be Gene Alley, but Gene Alley won't be the pinch hitter. He'll be the new shortstop that takes over. The 4E17, so they definitely lose something defensively. But they need a pinch hitter, and that pinch hitter is going to be Gene Kleins. So Gene Clines will pick up the bat and hit for the pitcher. I'm sorry, for the shortstop, Dow Maxfield, because they have to have offense. Catfish, they visit the mound to see if he's tired. He's on the verge of being tired. So let's see, do they want to make the move here? Catfish is scheduled to bat third next inning, so if they did make a move, you might think about a double switch. RJL Club, cover your ears. But there could be a double switch involved with a new center fielder taking over for Davaleo. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to pull Catfish. Raleigh Fingers is going to come on. And we're going to get a new center fielder, and it's going to be Angel Mangual will take over and bat ninth. So Mangual will take over and bat ninth in center field. Let's get his card out, Mangual. Not very good defensively, 4 and an E17. But we're doing the double switch, so Mangual is going to come on and bat in the ninth position, and the pitcher spot now resides in the number 7 position. That is Raleigh Fingers. And Catfish can win it, cannot lose it. But he's depending on Catfish getting him out. I'm sorry, depending on Raleigh Fingers getting him out of the jam. So pinch hitting for Alley will be Clines. Infield still in with 1 out. And then we got a pinch hitter coming up for the pitcher as well. Probably going to be Milt May, but we'll see. All right, so infield is in with 1 out. Raleigh Fingers to Gene Clines. 6-6, and that's a strikeout right there. Huge strikeout for Raleigh Fingers. In case you're curious, 6-6 on Catfish would have been a fly ball C. So it would have been an out and the runner was still held at third. But you never know how these things are going to work out. So now for the Pirates, they will bring in a pinch hitter. And it will be the backup catcher, Milt May. He will pinch hit for the pitcher. Try to get that tying run home. That will leave the bench players as Jackie Hernandez and Fernando Gonzalez, the only 2 bench players remaining for the Pirates. But they're trying to get that tying run across against Raleigh Fingers. Hello, Harquin. How you doing? Oh, Suadice. Let's re-roll that again. 5-5. Left-hander struck him out. So how about that? Raleigh Fingers comes in and strikes out both batters he faces in the bottom of the 8th to hold the Pirates to 2 runs. Only one of them is earned. So it's 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 left. We go to the 9th. It's Oakland 3 and the Pirates 2. And in case you weren't watching the first 2 games, the score of each of the first 2 games was 3-2. 3-2. Both teams have won by 3-2 scores in their ball games. Pirates won the game 1 by 3-2 score. Oakland won game 2 by a 3-2 score. So kind of an interesting little tidbit there if it happens to finish 3-2, that is. All right, so Pirates need a new pitcher. After all that's happening, we'll go to the bullpen for the Pirates. Since they pinch hit for Bob Moose, they will need a new pitcher. And we'll figure out who they want to go to. 3-2. Coming up for Oakland, Fossey, Green, and Mangual. They like to save Justy if they can. But they may not want to. They may want to go ahead and throw him out there. But down 3-2. They're going to bring in Bob Johnson and hope he does something. So Bob Johnson is in. A right-hander. Bob Johnson. He was 4-2, 3.62 ERA, and 4 saves in 1973. And he'll be facing Fossey, Green, and Mangual. And I have not brought Mangual's card in yet, did I? I thought I did, but I hadn't. So let's get his card and get him going. Mangual, where are you, Mangual? I thought I had you. There he is. There's Mangual. Okay, so it will be Fosse, Green, and Mangual against Bob Johnson. Top of the ninth, 3-2. Oakland leads the Pirates. Series tied at a game apiece. Johnson 3-8 to Fosse, and that's a ground ball to short. One away. And that'll bring up Dick Green. He's 0 for 3. It's a 2-9, and he's going to be 0 for 4. That's a fly to center, 2 down. And here's Mangual, his first at bat after the double switch, which keeps Fingers in the game. That's why you do the double switch. 5-12, and that's going to be a ground ball first base X. That is going to be first baseman Robertson. He's a 2E8, so he should take care of things. 2-13, he does. E8, he's got to avoid 3, 6, and then 15 through 18, which he does. So he's going to flip it to Johnson covering, and it's a 3 up and 3 down thing. So I need to write in these pitchers. And I need to do the totals on Moose. Forgot to do that while I was playing. Let's get everything caught up before we go to the bottom of the ninth. Moose came in, and Moose pitched 2 innings, gave up a run, which was earned, gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. And let's do the final numbers on Hunter now. He pitched 7 1/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, but only 1 of them was earned. Did not walk anyone and struck out 2. So his impeccable control was on display once again. So now, bottom of the ninth we go. Last chance for the Pirates. It'll be the top of the order. Stennett, Oliver, and Stargell. And if anybody gets on, Richie Zisk. Jester, he's around. You're right. The double switches are not allowed on the other channel. All right. So now, bottom of the, you missed it, Jester. Catfish Hunter had a no-hitter going till the top of the 8th inning, and that's when first of all, we had an error on Sal Bando that kind of shook his confidence, and then Richie Hebner promptly doubled, and then Manny Sanguillen promptly tripled. The next thing you know, Catfish not only has not have the no-hitter, he's no longer in the game. But he is winning pitcher record if the A's hold on. Raleigh Fingers came in relief, struck out pinch hitter Kleins, and struck out pinch hitter Milt May. And now he's going to start the ninth with a 1-run lead, hoping he can get through and take care of business and give the A's a 2-1 lead in the series. 3-5 for Stennett is a solid single to left field. So Pirates off to a good start. And let's look. Raleigh Fingers is a +4 hold. So Fosse at -3, I'm at a +1. So that can certainly help their running game. So let's see if Stennett wants to try to get the lead. And he's not very good at doing that. So he will hold. And now Oliver is a terrible bunter. So they're going to have him swing away. They will have him swing away. Normally you'd bunt in a situation like this to try to tie the game, but you got to go with the strength of the players. 6-5, and that's a fly to left field, 1 away. So but Pop Stargell could walk it off with 1 swing of the bat. Look at that column 2 against right-handers. If he hits that column 2, it could be Katie bar the door. And the A's would have felt like they lost one here and gave 1 away. That's a 4-3 to a lefty. That's a ballpark single check, but that's only 1-4. That's a 17. So he will line it to second for out number 2. And Richie Zisk, the last man standing for the Pirates. Richie Zisk, last one standing. Fingers. They are holding Stennett on first base. So the second baseman, Dick Green, is responsible for holding the runner. We get an X chance in that fashion. 1-9. That's a strikeout, but that's a clutch thing here, but he's not in scoring position, so the clutch does not take effect. So Richie Zisk will strike out, and there's your ball game. Raleigh Fingers comes in and does the job. An inning and 2/3, gives up 1 hit, nothing else, and strikes out 3 and gets the save. Catfish gets the win. Doc Ellis the tough loss. And a 3-2 victory in favor of Oakland. Each team did commit an error. And let's check on the hits. Pirates managed just 3 hits in the game, and they left on just 2 base runners. For the A's, let's see, Johnson pitched the 9th. He pitched 1 inning, gave up nothing. So 7 hits for the A's, 3 runs and 7 hits for the A's. Left on base 1, 2, 4, 6. They left 6 on base. So there is your final line score. And of course, the player of the game is Catfish Hunter, 7 perfect innings, while his team built a 3-0 lead, and they managed to hold on to win it 3-2, sending us to a Game 4 in Pittsburgh with the A's leading now 2-1, and that game will be played on Saturday night. It will not be Saturday at 11 like usual, because I have a lot of yard work to do, and this is the last day before the time changes, so I need to get out there and do that. I got lots of leaves and junk that has fallen that I need to rake up and clean up. So I'm gonna need every bit of daylight I can get. So this will be Saturday night, Game 4, roughly around the same time, around 7:30ish maybe, and it will be a rematch of Game 1. It would be Ken Holtzman against Nelson Briles. So that would be the match. I'm sorry, against Ken Brett, not Nelson Briles. My bad. To Battle of Lefties, Ken Brett against Vida Blue. That'll be Game 4 on Saturday night, roughly at 7:30. Then, of course, once the World Series here finishes, I'm going to go right back to the 1987 Strat-O-Matic Every Game American League replay. Next game on the channel for that is Minnesota and Seattle, a great pitching matchup, Bert Blyleven against Mark Langston. That's from the April 12th date. So that'll be coming up after all. I wanted to get all this done first. I didn't want to go back and forth. I wanted to concentrate on getting this done. And so Game 4 will be Saturday night. Game 5 might very well be Sunday night. And then we'll see if there's a Game 6 or 7. It would probably be like Tuesday or Wednesday at that point. So that's good to go from here. A's win it 3-2. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, 6 left for Oakland. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error, and 2 left for the Pirates. Winning pitcher, Catfish Hunter. Losing pitcher, Doc Ellis. The save to Raleigh Fingers. There were no home runs in the game, but obviously player of the game was Catfish Hunter for his 7 perfect innings. And Sal Bando still probably a little disappointed with himself. That 2-base error may have distracted Hunter enough to let Hebner double and Sanguillen triple. Without that error, you never know. He might have had that no-hitter going, but all the way, but just couldn't quite do it. So thank you all for tuning in, spending part of your Halloween with me. And yes, Alan, I am. I'm very much looking forward to get back to it. That's in my wheelhouse, so to speak. 1987, that was one of the seasons I followed the most, where I was old enough to know the strategy of the game and whatnot. So I would say 87 is probably, it's 87 and 82 are probably my 2 favorite seasons, along with 77. I was a little young in 77, but out of the 80s, I would say 82 and 87 were my 2 favorite seasons. So 87 definitely right up there, coming off the momentum of the 86 postseason. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Again, it will be Ken Holtzman against Ken Brett. A couple of Kens going at it. A rematch of Game 1. Well, I did a 77 American League with the Chicago White Sox every game. So I thought about doing 77. 77 was right up there with 87. I was torn between the two, actually, because I really wanted to do because I was going to do a 77 Cubs replay, but I was just too much for me when I was trying to do the 77 White Sox. But I thought about doing 77 National League only every game, and I thought about the great season 77 National League where you had the Dodgers and the Reds battling it out, and you had the Phillies and the Pirates battling it out in the National League along with the Cubs. And those, so, Astros are pretty good too. So, you know, great teams. Foster has 52 home runs, all sorts of things like that. But in the long run, 87 just kind of got me because I wanted to see if I can go 13-0 with the Brewers, which I didn't do because they lost one of their games already. Still a chance to get Molitor's 39-game hitting streak, possibly. You never know. But lots of good things happened in 87 in the American League. It was a great pennant race in the or American League East race in the 87 season with the Blue Jays and Tigers coming down to the last day. So we shall see. But anyway, that's going to do it from here. I got work tomorrow, so I got to make sure I relax the rest of the night and get ready to get up in the morning. It's going to be a long day tomorrow because I'm going to have work, and then I'm going to rush to get home, grab something to eat, and go out to the football game tomorrow night. And then Saturday, I got the long day in the yard, unfortunately. I'll be DVRing some football to watch later. And then Saturday night, again, will be hopefully around 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock, depending on my schedule. It'll be game 4 of this World Series. Ken Holtzman against Ken Brett, couple of left-handers, couple of Kennys. And we'll see. Pirates now trail 2-1, so almost a must-win game. You don't want to go down 3-1 to these powerful Oakland A's, but Brian B., the school I go to doesn't exist anymore. Well, they exist, but they changed the name of the school. So my friend and I refused to go there. We kind of boycott them. Although we are going there this week, but we're sitting on the visiting side in protest. So, but we usually just pick a couple of local, the high schools that are closest to us. We try to pick what we think would be a decent matchup. We don't have a team per se, but my school no longer exists, at least the way it was called back then, because it had a Civil War name, and people here thought it was offensive, so they decided to change the name. And when they did that, I disowned the school, so because it doesn't exist anymore. All right, that's enough of that. So anyway, that's going to do it from here. Actually, the games we go to mostly is a school called Highland Springs, and they have been a couple state championships in Virginia in Division 5. They're out now up to Division 6, I believe. I know last year they went down to Florida and played a team and beat a team in Florida. And they're pretty good this year. Not as good as they used to be because a lot of their players have gone on to college, so they're having to rebuild a little bit. But if you Google it, it's Highland Springs. Highland, Highlaland, and then Springs. It's actually a town outside of Richmond. And they were state champions in, they won a couple state championships in the last 5 or 6 years in their division. Of course, my old school, the only time I was in recent memory they had a good season, we lost to Highland Springs in the state quarterfinals. Of course, that team for Highland Springs had 3 NFL players on it. They had a guy named Greg Dortch, who I think now plays for Arizona, and they had a tackle named Mikhail Becton, who went on and played for Louisville and the Jets, and then another guy named Kayvon Wallace that ended up playing at Clemson and then on to the Eagles. I'm not sure if he's in football anymore, but I know Greg Dortch is still with Arizona. I don't know what Mikhail Becton's doing, but when one high school has 3 NFL players on it and you take them down to the last minute, that's on the road, that's pretty good. But that's the best that I've seen. And they went on to win state championship that year as well. So I felt like if we lost them by 7 points and we played them the toughest game of everybody in that season in 2015, you feel like you're doing pretty good. So, but my school doesn't exist anymore, so we poo-poo them and just pick a local game that we think might be interesting. And then this week we just happen to be going back to my old school, which is now under a different name. But we will be, and they're facing their county rivals, and we're going to sit on the other side just in protest, just to be, because we don't care. Doesn't matter to us. They stink anyway. So, all right, it's just fun to get out. It's the only time of the year. I mean, I don't get to see them that often. It's one of the only friends I still have in contact with from high school. So, and that's one of the things we had in common was going to the football games. So, anyway, just something to do on a Friday night, get out in the fresh air and everything, and and enjoy the atmosphere of those games and marching bands and all that, homecomings and all that stuff. So anyway, just something to do outside of baseball. But let's go from here. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Halloween and a good weekend coming up. And I'll check you all out on Saturday night. I just don't know what time. Might be 7:30, might be 8. I don't know for sure. Depends on how tired I am from raking all those leaves and how fast I can watch the football game that I DVR that afternoon. So that's going to do it from here. Again, Oakland wins at 3-2. And again, the third straight game that the final score has been 3-2. Every game, and I'll pull up the other score sheets, every game of the series, there's game 2 right here, where Oakland won at 3-2. And game 1, the Pirates won at 3-2. So every game has been 3-2. I know I've never had that happen before. 3 straight playoff games where this final score was the same every time. Go figure. All right, everybody have a good night, and we will see you all down the road.